So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome to Purpose Lab. So today's Wednesday, today's solar eclipse day. Today's topic is mission deployment. I love a mission deployment. Me and Gerald, we are just GSD. That's it. We get
We do.
shit done. That's it. I did it.
That's
We get
that's your potty mouth quota
that's
for
it.
the day.
We get shit
I'm
done.
I'm bleeping you after this.
You're blipping. You're blipping. Now here's a quick recap. This is episode number 4. So we had a first one was identity. The second one was assignment. The third one was environment. This one is mission deployment. Next week is going to be mind renewal. And the next week's episode number 6 is going to be design the life your startup must fund. There's going to be a bunch of stuff we're going to cover. Now, here's the big idea for today. Preparation is supposed to lead to deployment. Ask any musician, any soldier, any athlete. That's it. We prepare because we're going to go on stage and just play the rock and roll. But when you keep learning and planning and refining and praying and waiting, you're using preparation as a hiding place. Now, the workbook. Mr. Paul, I sent, before the meeting, I sent Paul the workbook via email. So, he has
it. He's so needy with this special
treatment. Paul gets special treatment. Here's the workbook. The workbook is like what we are covering now, but also a plan, a 7-day mission deployment plan. It's really easy. It's going to be tons of fun. Now, I want to address the Numify. Numify is now Cana's purpose playbook. And inside Numify, I cover the 3 Ds of purpose. Discover your purpose, develop yourself for your purpose, and deploy your purpose. Now, these 3 Ds, they address the 3 Ps problem. Here's Jonathan. The three Ps, the 3 problems that I identified to develop Numify were purpose pattern paralysis, lack of purpose, wrong mind pattern, and paralysis. So today we are addressing paralysis. That's it. The 3rd D, deploy. Now, we need to deploy. Well, no, Mr. Jonathan Nuhu, welcome. We need to deploy. That's it. We're founders. We need to ship it. We need to take what we already know and put it into motion. We all had the preparation we need, the learning we need, the planning we need, the refining, the prayer. Now it's time to go. All these things are good. I'm not judging. But even good things can become hiding places. Why? Because we fear. And why do we fear? Because we don't trust. There's something in us that's not trusting, that therefore we fear, therefore we prepare forever. I'm still preparing. Let's call it what it is. I fear exposure. I am a control freak. That's it. I cannot control the outcomes. I fear the exposure. I fear the rejection. I fear whatever. So I keep preparing because it hurts. Of course it hurts. Preparation feels safe because we remain in control. But if we are in control, guess who's not in control? God. That's it. So here are 2 aspects of deployment. The first aspect, I don't know if you guys know, a guy called named Ludwig von Mises from the Austrian School of Economics. 100 years ago, the guy said, the consumers are sovereign. They are the masters. And the entrepreneurs have to strive in their own interest to serve the wishes of the consumers. He also described the market economy as the democracy of consumers because every purchase is effectively a vote. We vote up or down, like or dislike. That's it. We buy or we reject. But for us, faith-driven founders, we have a second aspect of deployment, which is deployment in faith also triggers a bunch of good stuff we're going to cover in the session, so stay tuned. Okay, so once we ship it, once it's out there, we made a call, we met the clients, we're talking to partners and investors, we are exposed. But when we are exposed, we can be ignored, shoved aside, criticized. We don't like it, but we need to ship it. Yeah, but we don't like the feedback, but we need to ship it. That's a conundrum we are going to solve today. Now, topic number 1 is, I want to address when preparation becomes hiding. Wise people prepare. Like I said, soldiers prepare, athletes prepare, musicians prepare. Now, founders, we prepare. We study the market. We understand the buyer. We test assumptions. And as faith-driven founders, we have one more layer. We pray. We seek God's counsel. That's it. We seek his ways. So we're always praying. We're always in the scriptures. The problem begins when we prepare forever. It's like the assignment was not shipped. We still don't have traffic. We still don't have leads. We still don't have clients. We still don't have revenue. That's not deployment. It's just activity. You just burned out with no revenue. Here's the deal. Here's something funny. I've learned this a while ago. Check this out. If you're not embarrassed by the first version of whatever it is you're building, you're doing it wrong. You should be totally embarrassed. You have to cross the cringe valley. Just by saying that, man, I remember my first post on LinkedIn. I was still in cohort number 3 of the incubator. And Gerald said, you got to post every day. And I was procrastinating on the stuff. I was dragging my feet. And I was like, oh my God, it's got to be every day, every day. Okay, I started. It was cringe AF, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to throw my second potty mouth, but it was terrible. When I look back, my first post, it is just cringe, but you have to cross the cringe valley. You absolutely have. So let's talk about, there are 5 hiding places. We call loops. 5 hiding places. We have to name the devil, and we are going to name 5 devils today. Now, the first loop is the easiest one to spot, is the learning loop. It's like endless learning. I need to learn more about the market, about the clients, another sales course, leadership whatever. People go to Congress, people go to meetups, they're always going to learn something and something. So another workshop. Look, 2 perspectives from my own experience. If I had to learn everything under the sun in the medical field, so I could become Dr. Dolittle, for those who don't know, I was a veterinarian. I would still be learning. It is impossible for you to become a doctor and know every single thing. That's why we have specializations. My second example would be when I quit being a doctor, 2003, it's a long time ago. In 2004, my wife called me. She invited me. We were not husband and wife. We were just boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just dating. But she called me because she wanted to open her business, her design. She's a designer. I'm not a designer. She's a designer. And she called me like, you want to be my partner? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to design anything. Never learned this thing. So if I had to learn everything about design and development field, so I could start my first business in 2004, and we exited in 2016, 10 years ago, because we were moving to Italy with our baby girl. She was 2 at that time. We were moving. So we closed the business in Brazil, and that's it, we moved. If I had to learn every single thing about design and development back in 2004, there would be no business. I'm telling you, she's the designer. I never studied that stuff. To today, I don't know anything about design. So here's how you win the fight against the first loop. Learning loop. You don't ask, do I know everything? Because you know the answer. No, you don't. No, you don't. Obviously don't. So the question becomes, do I know enough to take the next step? So the fearful Jeff, the fearful Christopher, the fearful Jonathan would say, no, I don't know enough to take the next step. But here's the question I'll keep hammering throughout the lab. Check this out. If you only take steps when it's absolutely secure, why would you need faith in the first place? Is there any merit to your faith if you are 100% secure? I'm going to go back to this haunting question. Second hiding place is the planning loop. It's the analysis paralysis place. It makes you feel responsible, or in other words, less reckless. So here's the deal. You plan to take one action, and then you analyze 200 outcomes. And then you measure the pros and cons of each outcome. Let's call it what it is. You just a control freak. You fear losing control. But guys, under this perspective, starting a company is like having babies. If you had to read 200 books on parenting, and analyze all the pros and cons of each outcome, there would be no babies. Is that clear? So you go find a bed, cozy bed, and then make that baby. That's it. You ship it.
Well, how about practicing?
That's it. No, yeah, you plan having babies. Yeah, we have tons of practice. Come on. You just ship it. You just make babies. That's it. So look, planning is important. Like it reduces the unnecessary risk. We don't want to be stupid. Okay. But planning should not become a demand for certainty. We will never have 100% certainty. Now, here's a third loop, the refining loop. Talk about the hero of the website 1,000 times. Jeff, this is not for you. Don't take it personal. But let's imagine a guy is refining the hero of the website 1,000 times. I am refining my LinkedIn profile 312 times before posting any post. No, you don't do it. So the language when you in the hiding place, the third hiding place is fill in the blank is almost ready. Oh, my website is almost ready. My LinkedIn is almost ready. My product is almost ready. Everything is almost ready for 6 months. I'm going to challenge you. How do you know what needs to be improved if no one has seen it? No buyer, no customer, no partner, no accountability partner, none. No one has seen it. How do you know it needs improvement? The fastest way is to ship it, deploy it. The fourth loop is for us, faith-driven. It's the prayer hiding place. Don't get me wrong. Don't start the second Spanish Inquisition. Don't burn me at the stake. Prayer is essential. I want to be very clear. We need God's wisdom and direction, yes. But if you keep saying, I'm praying about it, when God has already made your next step very clear, you are hiding. Prayer should be preparation for action, not a substitute. Now, here's what's interesting. You're going to love this. The Bible is a book of promises, right, Gerald? It's a book of promises, but it's also a book of patterns, and it's also a book of principles. Let me focus on the principles. Principles are God's automations. They work regardless. Try to walk outside my balcony. See what happens. I'm on the 6th floor. So principles are God's automations. They work regardless. But there's one thing you have to do to trigger the automation. Push the button. Act. Deploy it. You got to click the button to see what happens. So faith is action. Here's what's cool. I got inspired by my first podcast with Gerald. I got inspired. Here's something I said in the podcast. Faith is how we activate the power of God, but it's also how we appropriate the promises of God. Mm-hmm. And it's also how we advance the purposes of God. So we activate the power, we appropriate the promises, and we advance the purposes. It means, so sometimes, what does that mean? Sometimes the answer to prayer is not another prayer. Sometimes the answer to prayer is do it. The answer to prayer is ship it, make the call, start your business, get rid of your partner, do whatever. You have to do something to get the ball rolling. You start small, you take the next step. Faith becomes visible through action. That's how you tell, oh, this man is a man of faith. This woman is a woman of faith. Through their fruits, the actions. That's it. Now, the fifth loop is, the hiding place is the waiting loop. This one is actually fun because the phrase is, when I fill in the blank, I will fill in the blank. So when I feel more confident, when I have more energy, when I have more time, when I have more clarity, blah, 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 I will move. I will call. I will sell. I will put the offer up. I will call this person. I will decide. There's this bunch of stuff that when I'm ready. Oh, I'm not ready. You're never ready. Yeah. But there's two types of readiness. Type number one is the readiness that comes from preparation. It's like, I'm not going to go on stage, do some rock and roll without knowing the songs. That's preparation. What is the key? What's the scale? Oh, what is the solo? Oh, what's my part? That's it. You got to know. But there's also readiness that comes from actions. That's it. You take an action. Athlete knows this, musicians, soldiers, because there's feedback. You poke reality response, and you go, oh, this is not working, or this is working. That's it. It's another level of readiness, and you keep doing it. Okay, so how do we know when preparation has become a hiding place? There are 5 signs. This is going to trigger. Brace yourselves. The winter is coming. There are 5 signs that you know when preparation has become a hiding place. Sign number 1, you already know the next step and you don't take action. Sign number 2, more research is not changing your decision. Sign number 3, your work is internal with no contact with reality. No one knows what you're working on. No clients, no partners, no employees, nothing is being exposed. Sign number 4, the finish line keeps moving. God forbid you are pivoting, but you keep moving the goalpost. Sign number 5, you're exhausted. Your beef is well done. You cannot stand the barbecue pit anymore. The steak is done, but you have no revenue, no traffic, no leads, no clients, no conversations, no nothing. So eventually your preparation has to leave the building. Gerald, what's your take?
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, it's natural to procrastinate. I mean, that's kind of what it is. And you're busy, busy, busy,
Default
busy,
state,
busy,
yeah.
busy. But well, what's that saying? Shit or get off the pot. It's really true. I got
There's
to
a
get my
potty mouth.
potty. I got to get mine in. But here's the thing. When I first got into the venture studio business 3 decades ago, one of my first founders, and we were taking companies, we were turning around companies that were further along. So this guy had built a company, and I think they were doing about 12 million, and then sales tanked, and we started working with them. The thing I learned from this guy, there's something I learned from this founder. Like this guy already had a decent lifestyle, already had a really expensive house, already had, high income, all that kind of stuff. It's just that he lost it and now he wants it back. So he's not waiting on anything. And I just remember like, what week, what month do you want to start? Look, I need you out here tomorrow. And he was like, I don't care what it costs. I need you to fly out here tomorrow. There was a sense of urgency. I remember once we took about 3 days to come up with a strategy. Okay, 3 days to come up with a strategy. I already kind of knew what to do with it because it was back then I was doing verticals. And but like this is before doing websites were really easy. I remember he said, we decided on a new website. I showed him a couple that I kind of liked, and he goes, "Great, take the weekend, don't go home." Take the weekend. I go, well, who's going to build it? He goes, well, I have a coder, which has never done a website. So me and the coder worked through the whole week. We had 3 days to do a website. 3 days.
In
Okay.
Flash.
I told him he was crazy, but guess what happened during that? We did it. Was it perfect? No. Did we have to make changes? We did.
Interesting.
I just noticed this guy, it was like, ship it tomorrow. There was an urgency. And this guy, what I learned from him, here he is coming into our studio, but here's what I learned from him. He wanted everything done the next day. He pushed us to our limits. I, in turn, pushed his team to the limits. And I just learned how fast things could be done. So today,
Yep.
I think about, when I think about a venture, I think about there's 3 parts: demand generation, lead generation, and sales pipeline. I mean, I know there's all kinds of ingredients in there, but these are 3 things that have to happen. And I could, like for demand generation, posting content, shared, earned, owned, like you could start tomorrow. There is no waiting. Shit or get off the pot. You know what I mean? It's like you
Bleep.
do it. Just do it. And I know from when I first started doing it, same thing. It took me forever. It took me too long. I was trying to what people don't realize, like with that, you do your first cringe post, nobody sees it.
Well, that's
LinkedIn's
good.
not going to show it to
Your
anybody.
your first video, no one watched it. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank
it
God.
just, you just gotta go do it. You just gotta go do it. I'm not, you don't have to go unprepared. You could prepare, but we don't need to over prepare. And I think that is a fear in a lot of different ways. Fear in a lot of different ways. We don't want to look embarrassed, blah, 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 blah. But I think that what did you say at the beginning? There was a line that you said, if you're not embarrassed, what was it? If
If
you're
you're not
not
embarrassed by the
by the
first
first
version of
version of
whatever it is you're doing it wrong.
yeah. I think that's it. And if you're smart and you do something, and you screw it up, you go, oh my God, that's so cringe. You get better at it. And you get
Yes,
better at it.
of
And
course.
you got better at it. And it's like so I think that's the thing. You gotta just I'm gonna potty mouth 3 times a day. Shit or get off the pot. Like what are you waiting on?
Yeah, third bleep.
So the very first, so it's like this. Those of you who are dealing one-on-one with me or in a group and like Venture Studio or whatever, if your thing is like, well, we need appointments, we need to have 5 appointments a month, close 40% to hit our run rate number.
Yep.
Okay, work it backwards. What has to be done? Let's do it now. Now, 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 now. That's it.
Yes, yes. And here's let me get to the second topic, but let me tell you this. This is because we are faith driven. This is our unfair advantage, but we take it for granted. The leap of faith, your next move, but we take it for granted. Let's start with vision. We are all visionaries here. Now, vision can inspire us, and vision can overwhelm us. It cuts both ways. So when a founder says, I'm called to transform healthcare, I want to help 1 million people. That's very good. But my question to you is, what do you do today? Give me one piece of evidence that you're moving to fulfill your vision today, right now. Because why? Well, notice one thing. The world is already a huge graveyard of great ideas. Purpose has to become practical. At a certain point, the rubber has to meet the road. That's it. Vision is large, but your next action has to be very specific. So like Noah, hey, his assignment was ginormous, right? But he had to cut wood. First action, hey, just chop some trees. That's it. Now, okay, Christian, you ask, how can we identify the next move? Okay, use 3 questions. It's very simple. It's all in the workbook. What do I already know? Question number 2, what is mine to do? What is my responsibility to do? And question number 3 is what can be completed now that will move the needle? So the first question is start with what is already clear. If there's something, let's say Paul, in your business, it's already clear that you should do, that's it. Then you jump to the second question, what is my responsibility? You're not responsible for, I mean, this question, what is mine to do, separates your responsibility from the outcome. For the control freaks in the house, it's the best question to ask yourself. Because now, let's say you are responsible for make a clear offer. Let's say we are launching an offer tomorrow, Gerald. We're launching tomorrow. Is the offer clear? We're gonna see it pretty soon. What would be our responsibility? Well, if the offer is not clear, let's make it clear. And then we do it. That's it. We don't overanalyze the stuff. Now, you do the possible and let God do the impossible. It's going to look like we're doing the impossible. So you become paralyzed when you make yourself responsible for an outcome you cannot control. Then you avoid the action because you cannot control the outcome. Then I'm not taking action. Then you're in this place right now. Question number 3, what can be completed now that will move the needle? Here's what people don't get. And I'm talking from a GSD perspective. Operator, I do stuff, I execute. Completing tasks that actually move the needle, this is that addictive, guys. Try it. It's good. I'm not talking about drugs. This is one of the drugs that you can do over and over again. You're going to get high because you do it and then you see the results and you're like, oh, let me poke again. Boom. And then it comes out on the other side and then you do it again. Look, We are always in a chemical loop. You choose fear loop or GSD loop. Get shit done loop or fear loop. That's it. I prefer the GSD. Of course, when there's uncertainty, we get into the fear. Like yesterday, Jeff brought it up about fear in the call yesterday during the weekly check-in, and then Gerald developed this thing about fear. Of course, we are every now and then in a chemical loop of fear, which I hate it, but it happens. Okay, fear has a reason why God created fear in us. Of course, there's a lion there. You're gonna find it there. I'm gonna run, but we overuse fear. So what I'm proposing now is that you just switch the chemical loop, get shit done. You're gonna love it. Now ask yourself, what can be completed now that will actually move the needle? So your next action, and guys, the sooner the better. Your next action should result in some tangible evidence, should create some tangible, and I mean you can touch, you can measure, you can say this is good, no, this is crap. But here's the trap: we have ego. It's standing in the way because we want to be right. But most of the times, for us to be right, we have to get it right. And for us to get it right, we got to be wrong. And we don't like it. Here's where we have to have some humility, because the sooner the better, guys. So, we have to have this bold humility, like Gerald says, but we have to do it sooner than later. If the buyer does not understand the offer, let's say launch an offer, that's it, it's launched, it's there. And the buyer doesn't understand, dude, we need to know it ASAP. If the problem is not urgent and you're working on this thing, like, no, this is a huge problem in the market, but you discovered that this is not, the sooner the better. If the price is wrong, we need to know. That's it, the sooner the better. So become humble as fast as you can, get it out there, get the feedback, see if it works. Now, I'm going to hand it off to Jared again, because you have experience of launching offers, pricing, working with founders, problem solution fit. Is this problem urgent or not? What is your take on this thing?
Well, in Venture Studio, when somebody's in, you see how fast we move. We move fast. Like I go from where you are to really building a foundation, probably in 1 or 2 days, to all of a sudden, updating LinkedIn profile, making sure website's right.
Mhm.
Really all the ingredients would go to market. Boom, 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 boom. They're there,
Fast, fast,
and
fast.
then we launch, and then we just launch. Our world is we do GSD. Like I think about just this week. We're doing the Chonies launch. Rick's on the call with the. We already launched his company. We already launched his campaign, but now we're doing a partnership offer with them, and we went from an idea with something to when did you come up with that whole landing page and everything? Would it take you a couple of days to do it? I mean, this
Yeah,
thing's complex. Complex. Emails go out tomorrow.
yeah.
You ship. But I learned something from the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul's out there. His job is killing Christians, persecuting,
Oh
hunting
wow.
them down, doing all that. God gives him, the moment where he goes blind and he has the conversion and so here's this guy that his specialty is like a Hitler to Christians. That's what he's doing. You know how fast he was out preaching the gospel out of that? Like immediately. And he had a lot of renewing to do. Now he went and did that. And then he went and spent like 3 years in the desert. And then
Yeah,
he actually spent like another I think 14 years or something
yeah.
before he wanted to meet the other disciples.
14
Because,
years. It's in Galatians.
he was like, well, geez, I was killing all their friends, for such a long time. But I just think that it's like, like my dad used to say, less talk, more work, get stuff done. And so like in my life, it is idea, put it on paper. I have a big task list this year, this month, this week, scheduling everything, prioritizing, and that's how I get stuff done. And it just like today when I look at my schedule, it's just there is I don't have time on my schedule to go to the bathroom. It's just thing after thing after thing, after
Just kidding.
thing, it's just and I love it because I don't have to think about what comes next. it's GSD.
Yeah.
It's GSD. Now, I also know what it's like to not do that.
I feel
And when I
terrible.
and
I
then you
f-
just
I
get
feel
busy
terrible.
doing stupid stuff
And
that's
fear
not going to make you
settles,
any money.
and then you
Fear
go into
settles.
fear.
You
Yeah.
got to sit and go, what's the thing that's going to make us money?
Yeah.
And you prioritize around that. So it's not more features. It's not more features. It's not more planning. Let me take a class, blah, 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 blah. Just the thing is, whatever I don't like, it's TDR. Think, do results. There's
Yeah.
a result I don't like. I go back, change my thinking, pretty quickly change my doing,
Yes.
and then wait for the fruit, which is the results. It's that, and it happens fast when you're wrong, and it happens fast when you're right.
Yeah.
But you get the action. It's kind of like working on your golf swing. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try
Yeah.
this. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the deployment. That's the deployment mindset. And I want to get back to I want to I want to teach you guys a sequence. So it's in the workbook, but I want to teach you guys a sequence. It's just a 7 day. If any of you is or anyone watching the recording, you feeling like you're in one of the 7 hiding places, always learning, always there's another new as a new feature. I'm always praying. It's like this is gonna be great because it's very simple. It's just 7 days. Because we're gonna take that one decision into a week of execution, and it's really simple. And we need to move the needle and create the momentum so you can get hooked on the new drug instead of the fear drug. It's the GSD drug.
Mm.
So here's the simple sequence. And 7 days. Why 7 days? Because it's short enough for you to get the ball rolling and get some results, but it's long enough to create some evidence. Because if you set a goal like, no, it's going to be 2 days, there's no evidence, and you're like, no, you got to get, then you lack motivation to do stuff. 7 days is perfect. Now, the plan has 4 parts. Part number 1, you're going to choose one priority for the week. Part number 2, you're going to choose daily deployment actions. Part number 3, you're going to add one accountability factor. That could be the worst part. And part number 4, you're going to define one measurable result. And part number 4 loops with part number 1. You're going to see in a moment. It kind of connects like a circle, and then you keep the loop. Okay, now before I move on, let me go up. Jeff, Mr. Jeff Kaufman, I want to address something. Jeff raised the topic of fear yesterday in the call. We have 2 calls, one Tuesday and one Thursday. For those who have the playbook, he raised a concern. And then Gerald developed this entire stuff about fear, and we were discussing the fear. Now, Jeff is starting a new company, and it's a construction business, and it's a software, but the construction market is not okay. Let's put it like this. That's simple. Let me tell you, Jeff, if I can address this personally, I'm not putting you under the spotlight. I'm just trying to address because I was thinking, you got me thinking after the call yesterday. I was like, I got some things to tell Jeff. There are 2 Jeffs. There are 2 Jeffs. One Jeff takes action by sight. And this Jeff goes, what the hell am I doing? The construction business is tanking. I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people with the wrong products. The second Jeff takes action by faith. He goes, Lord, you called me. So you anointed me. Look, God is not worried about construction market. The second Jeff, which is who takes action by faith, he goes, hey, God loves me. He called me because I have what it takes. It doesn't matter the market. So Jeff, if he called you to launch a product in a trending, rising, beautiful market with all the circumstances were perfect, and it got plenty of wind behind your back, there's one thing you surely wouldn't need: faith in him. You wouldn't, because it was perfect. It is glorious. Everybody's making money. You just push the button. Everyone buys G Pro, and you're like, oh, it's rising. You wouldn't need him. So this is for us. Why do we fear? Because we don't trust. We always get into this rut, like, oh my God, why am I fearing? Why? Because I'm not trusting. Oh, why am I not trusting? I have to go back. So God wants you, and when I say you, it's not Jeff, it's us. God wants us to trust him and depend on him like any good father would. So for true Christians, this is one thing that I've learned. Dependence is just another word for power. With him, everything is possible. So now, Jeff, here's the picture that I had yesterday during the meeting. I didn't know why, but after the meeting, I was like, oh my God, now I understand. Here's the picture. If you're focusing on the market, oh, it's not as good as it used to be, or it is going down, or it's not, as okay. If you're focusing on what the hell am I doing? Perhaps I could be wrong, but perhaps you're focusing on the storm and the waves instead of Jesus who's in front of you. Mm-hmm. So if you focus on him, you won't sink. It's like Peter. It's like, okay, I'm going to take Numify as an example. Purpose is not trending. No, it's not. No one gives a crap about purpose until purpose hits the fan, until crap hits the fan. So it's not trending. So no one talks about this thing. Everybody's talking about AI, but I do not have an AI business. So there's one moment when I was like, what the hell am I doing here? But it doesn't matter because I have to look at him. The waves are crashing, the wind is howling, the storm is raging, but I fear not. Because you called me to do that. So you gotta have something for me here. So, okay, enough of my rants, Jeff. Sorry to put you on the spotlight. Hope that helps. So like there's 4 parts. Let me go back to my notes. This plan has 4 parts. So part number 1 is you choose your priority. And for the next 7 days, you gotta reverse engineer the priority. Here's an interesting question. What is one completed outcome? No. What one completed outcome would create the most useful evidence? What is the one outcome that would create the most useful evidence? So you get an evidence. What needs to happen? What do we need to do? That's the priority. You got 1. So during the next 7 days, my primary mission is this. If you start to put comma, and, you're cooked. Now, the part number 2 is you choose your actions, daily actions. What do I mean by that? It has to make it to your calendar. I mean, tasks in the calendar. Say, for example, let's get Paul, for example. Day number 1, Paul is going to clarify the priority, remove the vague language, decide one priority that will have this outcome, which is measurable. That's it. You get it. Here's my one priority. You decide what done means. That's it. Day number 1, once a day, guys. So day number 2, Paul will start to develop the first version of whatever you decided, and you ship it. Doesn't mean a product. It could be one conversation, one call, one email, one something, just one something that needs to be done to produce the outcome. Now, day number 3, Paul is going to reach out to reality. What do I mean by that? Reach out to people who need to use or evaluate what you're building. You actively reach out. Why? Because on day number 4, you're going to take all these feedback and you're going to analyze this entire stuff. Paul is going to get all the objections, the confusions, the questions. Or let's say there's an offer, there's no traffic. What is going on? Something is going on. Or people are converting, but they are confused. That's it. You get the data. Day number 5, that's where you pivot. Okay. Day number 5 is a trap. Day number 5 is a trap. That's where you pivot your situation. You adjust and redeploy. What people do, they analyze and don't do anything else. They sit on their hands. This is not what you want to do. You want to adjust the stuff, get whatever is wrong, whatever is right, you get the data, and then you adjust and then you redeploy. That's it. You use the evidence. That's it. Then you put the improved version back into the world. That's it. Do it. On day number 6, you just close open loops. What does that mean? You do not allow small unfinished tasks to become another hiding place. It's another trap. So it's a small task you do. You follow up again. Let's say Paul needs to follow up. He follows up again. That's it. Close the loop. And day number 7, what do? You review everything and then you decide the next priority. So on day 7, you just said what was done. What's the evidence? What have I learned? What had changed? What needs to be changed? And then you decide the next one. I'm telling you, this is addictive. You're going to get hooked. No, now I'm not talking specifically to Paul, but to everyone. It's like you're going to get hooked because this is a chemical. It starts, I'm telling you, starts a chemical reaction. And then all of a sudden you are GSDing the crap out of life. And then all of a sudden your product is there, you're getting feedback. Even if the feedback is crap, you need feedback. Now, part number 3 is you add accountability. We need it. And it cannot be our wives, okay? That's why we have now 2 days. Consider a Tuesday meet for those who have the playbook. Tuesday meeting, faith and purpose, and Thursday meeting is startup execution. This is your accountability checkpoints. So just show up and say, that's it. I'm struggling with this. This is what I've done. Let's say Paul appears on a Thursday, and he got 1 week worth of, I've executed, and then he gets to Gerald and said, hey, Gerald, this is my report. This is what I've done, and this is the outcome. Please, now I'm lost. Now I need direction. That's it. Accountability checkpoint. For the accountability checkpoint, you need who you will report to, when, and what's the evidence you're going to show. And now the final part is close the loop. You're going to define one measurable result. So let's say Paul got the feedback, and one measurable result was 1 proposal delivered. Done. That's it. And this is the evidence that should inform your next sprint, the next week. That's it. Now, here's the sequence. Deploy, learn, adjust. Redeploy, learn, adjust. Redeploy, learn, adjust. That's it. You don't stop. You GSDing all the way, 24/7, 365. You never stop. Now, long story short, and I want to get considerations from the room, questions, and Gerald's final take. Long story short, the deployment plan should answer 4 questions. Oh, by the way, I haven't pasted anything in the chat. What is wrong with me? It's the solar eclipse. It's messing with my head. Here's the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5. What is going on? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. This deployment plan should answer these 4 questions. Number 1, what is my 1 priority? Number 2, what will I do each day? 1 thing per day. Number 3, who will hold me accountable? Can of founders, you have plenty of accountability checkpoints. And number 4, what is the measurable evidence that must exist within 7 days? That's it. You keep it simple and you just GSD. Now, do you guys have any questions? Gerald, I want to take I want to learn from your wisdom. Now, when you see a founder that, say, for example, struggles with the 1 priority, what would you say to that founder? Like from the get-go, what is my 1 priority? First question. Oh, I can't answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, if you're there in person, you could there's no escaping, because you could just pull up your calendar.
No hiding.
And, but I'll tell you this, you're a perfect example yourself of this, because 2 years ago, I think about 2 years ago, you filled something out to interview for Incubator, and I emailed you, but I think it was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
You came into cohort number 3.
Yes, sir.
Your big idea was Antidote for Chaos.
It was an app.
And it was an app. and doing incubator or something. I said, nah, that's not going to work for because you were trying to raise capital. And I said, you got to make short-term money now, unless you have, $1 million in the bank or whatever. He says, nah, I got to make money now. And so I says, nah, you need to come up with something. And in the discussion, quickly, we said it came up to Numify. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just Numify. So what was interesting was accountability. I never asked for this, but every single day or every 2 or 3 days, I'd get a email from Christians saying, "This done, check mark. This done, check
Accountability
mark."
checkpoint. Yeah.
Like I was getting all these emails from like he was the only person that was sending me these things, and it just caught my attention. Like this guy is GSD. Like whatever we discuss, he's doing it like the next day, and then so
True.
all of a sudden like the Numify site goes up and we were, he'd say, "Hey, I did this. What do you think?" I look at it. He was always getting my attention. And what I was taking note of, this guy could GSD. Oh my God, I wish I had somebody. I have all these venture partners, but I wish I had somebody like an operating partner that could move at that pace. And after he came up with Numify, and I remember telling him, remember, I already had a purpose program. I've already written
Yes,
books about
that's
purpose.
that's true.
I've been teaching purpose to hundreds of thousands of people for the last 20
I was
years,
still
doing
wearing
big
diapers.
events, all
I was still
that.
in diapers. You were already teaching.
I said, you know what? I'm not going to have time to like redo this whole thing.
Mm.
Like, you're really sharp. If you want, you take it over and rebuild. I remember that conversation.
I remember the conversation.
And then all of a sudden you have the course and you have all these different things. And
I remember.
and then one day it hit me. I said, Christian, let's let Numify replace what we have inside. We have big
GSD.
audience.
Yeah,
Come inside. And
true.
all of that GSD
As well, GSD.
led to operating partner. And now somebody that I can't operate without, like we get so much stuff done. It's like we could hallucinate about an idea, make a, crack the code on something, and it is done. It is done. It's like I could finish his thoughts, he could finish my thoughts. Like, it just
True.
that 2 years ago, I was because I had somebody that wasn't quite cutting it, kind of an operating partner wasn't quite cutting it,
Hmm.
and I asked God, send me the person.
Oh wow.
I never in my wildest days thought it was going to come through incubator.
That
I
never
never
crossed
thought.
my mind. Yeah.
Venture partners now, almost everybody that's a venture partner that's building for media site in small towns, they're almost, I think there's one that didn't come out of incubator because you get to know people. I mean, when I first met Jeff, it was, I think, one or two conversations or something. And I went, oh my gosh, I'm going to keep my eye on this guy because, because I think he's going to be a venture partner with us because he's got some skills that we don't have. And so we better help him with his business, make sure it's successful because I want to tap into his skill set. And that's how he ended up, venture partner. I'll just finish with this last thing. How old was Noah when he got the assignment? Anybody know?
400 and
Yeah, like
what's
500, 400 or 500 years,
80,
you know,
480.
500 years old or so, old dude. Okay. Do you know, okay, what was the sight or faith thing? So do anybody remember how long it took him to build the ark?
120 years.
I believe it was,
He
I
was
believe it,
600 years when he finished, I think.
yeah, so it was like 10 decades,
Yeah,
9 or 10 decades.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. In 9 or 10 decades, when you're building this thing that you've never built, what would, like, you can't work by sight, you have to work by faith. By sight,
For a
what was
rain
the
that
big
never came.
problem? What was the big problem for Noah when he's building this ark?
His wife.
No, it had never rained.
Yeah, I know. Mrs. Noah was like, "What are you doing? Are you on
It had
drugs
never,
again?
yeah. And that's like,
Never
if you have
rain.
a
Yeah.
good wife, she probably, what are you doing? Are you sure about this?
Are you sure about
Like,
rain?
and that's the thing where you just like when God calls you, I mean, there's an interesting question. I'll turn it back to you, but I had asked Jeff this in a meeting yesterday, or the day before, whenever it was, yesterday, I think. I said, I want you to go to God and I want you to ask him why this company, your company, JitPro, has to do 100 million. And it's all going to be around souls and discipleship. But why can't I just settle for 10 million or 15 million or 20 million? Because we would do just fine if, you'd have a great lifestyle, 20 million, 30 million, you do just fine, right? Um, and you can get all your toys, you can do all that kind of stuff. Why do I have to take it to 100 million plus? And it's so interesting when you get those things down and then you find out this was not your idea. This was his idea. The timing's his idea. And so we're sitting there going, "Are you sure?" It's never rained. Are you sure? And but if he could take us on the path and just show us the future a little bit, which he doesn't do, we would go, "Oh,
Oh, now I
oh, I
get
didn't
it.
know you were
Yes.
gonna do that." Oh, but if you look back in life, that's how things happen. Because I'll tell you this, Christian, from the day I met you, there's no way you assumed that you'd be operating partner here 2 years later.
No, no, of course not. If God has showed me like, no, you're going to be operating partner for what? No, just no. That's out of my. That's out of my. That's not my tour. It's not my gig, because I do not see all the pieces. It's like
What's
Job
weird
said.
too, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever it was, you were an atheist. How
Yeah,
does
that's
a
true. I
guy
was.
who was an atheist know
Yeah,
what Christian knows, have command of the scriptures?
no,
It's because he doesn't have
it's
any
him.
baggage.
It's
He
not
doesn't
what
have
I
any
do. It's
baggage like Christian
yes.
baggage. It's just the Holy Spirit working in him. It's
It
amazing.
is. It's all about looking back. So like Job said, you can only connect the dots looking back. So looking back, I can see the trajectory. But when I was there, I was like, no, I'm newly. I want to address Rick, Mr. Campos. You asked such an interesting question in the chat, Christian. Where did you learn all this? This is the essential foundation before we. It's kind of to avoid costly mistakes. Mr. Campos, your question contains the answer. I had a million costly mistakes. That's how I learned every single time. There's one thing I did, which I haven't, I asked God a bunch of times, had no answer. But when I went and quit my veterinary life, my veterinary career, and I quit being a doctor, it's over. It's over for me. I didn't know what to do. There was this moment where I got this, what do I need to do? It came instantly to my head, which now is the Numify. Every time I turn something around, it is what you guys are seeing now in Numify. 6 stages. How did I put this into the course? Gerald once asked me, so you talk about old self, new you. How did you turn around all these things in your life? I mean, suicide, depression, drugs, all addictions you can imagine. How did you turn it around? I said, oh, there's a bunch of stages I go through, and I've been doing this over and over again. It's like I always knew how to do it. But then he said, how do you teach people? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue. It's like Gerald has been turning around companies, let's say, for 20 years. And I say, Gerald, can you teach me? I said, no, well, I never taught this thing. So you have to put this into something that you can teach. That's how Numify was born. But then how, Mr. Campos, because I was making costly mistakes over and over and over again and turning them around using the same template. What is the template? Then I had to figure out, oh, uh, one thing I hate is to fall back into the same mistake and never learn. I'm a learner. So how did I learn? There's a bunch of people who go through the same mistakes and they never learn. That's not me. I hate going through the same mistakes over and over again. God knows how I hate it. I don't want to go back. I want new mistakes. I don't want old mistakes. I want new mistakes. So this is how I operate. And every time I turn around, there's one of the purpose labs that was one of the first ones. And I remember Gerald was the first one that he just crashed the meeting. And I thought it was a fake profile. Gerald Duran is in the waiting room, like, nah, it cannot be. So one of the first. I remember I was teaching the 6 stages to a new life, which was how Numify works.
Mm.
And I remember Gerald going by the end of the purpose. I just said, I was looking at the 6 stages, and it's like the lean business canvas. Once you open it, you never close it. You have
Mhm.
to keep coming back to the 6 stages, because he said I am reinventing myself for a new CanaGlobal, but I have to go to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 again. This is what happened to Gerald? I was just who kicked him out? He's out of the meeting. Oh my God. Did he say, oh, I have to jump in the founder meeting? Okay. I thought someone kicked him out. So I was talking about Gerald. So he went in and he said, it is amazing because I'm seeing myself now. I'm not the person yet who's gonna, future CanaGlobal. I'm getting out of old CanaGlobal, and I need to go through these six stages over and over again. So every time I want something in my life, say Jeff wants to reach a new level, or say Jonathan, say Rick, say Paul, you want to reach to a new level. The person who's going to reach that level is in you, but it's not you yet. You haven't become it yet. There's one thing that I've learned, and I'm going to close this because I know I went long. Why do we have goals? Some people have goals just to accomplish goals. And here's something I learned. You have the goal to see who you need to become to achieve the goal. So it is a becoming process. This is what I learned. So you got Jeff next year, the JIT Pro guy making millions of dollars. Jeff today. There's this gap that we just have to close. That's it. It's just a gap. And then when he gets there, there's another Jeff here, and he goes, oh, okay, I got to close this gap. And this is over and over. I guess that's one of the things they call sanctification. Could be. But we are growing in this place of becoming. That's what God wants from us. Because do you think God needs our money? It's like, no, he needs us to become. That's it. It's a becoming game. So yeah, I'm gonna close this with a huge thank you, Jeff. I apologize if I put it in the under the spotlight with yesterday's topic, but you kept me thinking about yesterday, the entire night, and this entire morning. And as I was reading the script for Purpose Lab, I said, I think I'm gonna address Jeff's topic now, because that's it, man. You got it. God called you. Doesn't matter. You got it. You're in it to win it. That's it. So, guys, thank you very much. Do you have any questions? If you don't have any questions, no questions, no observations. Thank you. Jonathan was clapping. Thank you, Jonathan. I think it's your first one. Oh, you unmuted yourself, Jeff. Go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you, Christian, as we were heading out. But yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're here for you. We're here for you. So, guys, thank you very much. Next Wednesday, we're going to, I hope to see you again. And until next time, I'm signing off.